22 years ago, on December 6, 1989, a gunman walked into Ecole Polytechnique and committed the worst mass murder in Canadian history. 14 women were killed that day, shot dead solely because they were women.
Good evening. As you know from the National, it's been a horrifying night in Montreal. A few hours ago, the peace and serenity at the University of Montreal was abruptly shattered when a gunman burst into a crowded building and went on a shooting rampage. 14 women are dead. A dozen more people are injured, many critically.
This event would significantly change the dialogue around violence against women in our country. It was a catalyst for action and mobilization around ending gender-based violence that would begin to see men take up the struggle as well.
Men and women together with a common belief that 14 women were murdered because they were women.
There's still an awful lot of hostility towards women, and especially for women who are working for equality in politics and in labor and just in their own lives. I mean, as a man, I can sense it when I talk to other guys about feminism and equality.
The massacre in Montreal seared the soul of this country. It also triggered a wave of gun control and forced men to confront the issue of violence against women in a way they never had before.
In 1991, 2 years following the massacre in Montreal, a handful of men would launch the White Ribbon Campaign, and one of those visionaries and co-founders was Jack Layton.
It's been nearly 2 years since Marc Lépine gunned down 14 women in Montreal. Now men in London are wearing white ribbons, and they've enlisted the support of well-known men in politics and business to their campaign.
The white ribbon for us symbolizes the idea of men giving up their arms and stopping the violence against women.
The network wants other men to put the ribbons on themselves, on their cars, and at their workplace. And they want men to speak out when they hear sexist jokes or know about violence to women.
This is a problem for every Canadian, and I think for far too long men have remained silent about the issue. Somehow they feel if they're not a batterer, it's not their problem. If it's not their mother, not their sister, it's not their issue.
Jack believed that men not only have to play a role in working towards ending violence against women, but that it was also their responsibility to promote gender equality and to challenge the most harmful aspects of masculinity.
We'd like to remind people that the caring and nurturing that men can do is the kind of role that we want to emphasize.
Jack challenged men to speak up, speak out, and to work with other men to do the same. His vision of ending violence against women included working together to improve women's economic and social equality that would begin to create the conditions for change. And over the years, CAW brothers have shared that vision, participating in education and awareness campaigns, and speaking up and speaking out. In 1995, then-President Buzz Hargrove wrote to all locals, saying, "It is men in our society who must change their attitudes and behavior against women. Wearing a white ribbon is a pledge by the men in our union not to remain silent, but to use our voice and strength in progressive ways. This starts by listening and leads to commitment."
In Vancouver, British Columbia, a white ribbon campaign was launched by CAW Local 111, where over 600 bus drivers, including 200 women drivers, wore the white ribbon, symbolizing the fight to stop violence against women. They also signed a petition supporting the campaign.
We just can't sit around and keep quiet anymore. It is time for all of us to talk about it and stop it.
Just we're fighting for equality all the way around. Hopefully, things will be different for my daughter and better, and things will be different for my granddaughter and better.
And we just stop this insane violence against women once and for all. We owe it to the sisters in our union, we owe it to our daughters, and we owe it to women in more in society.
And I think we need to recommit ourselves as men here right now to end the abuse and violence against women.
I challenge every man in this local, I've been in this local for 36 years in this union, to go back to their workplaces and not just end the physical abuse, but the psychological abuse.
So I ask you to do something, and that is speak to your family, speak to your friends, speak to your brothers, and most importantly, speak to your sons.
I'm hopeful when I look at the work that the CAW has done, where I can say from my work around the world that you folks really are at the forefront of addressing issues of men's violence against women. You brothers and sisters are leading the world in some of this work in terms of what needs to be done in workplaces around the world, and I really want to commend you for that.
So from its meager inception, using Jack's son Mike's bedroom as an office, to now having a presence in over 60 countries in the world, the White Ribbon Campaign is now the world's largest movement of men and boys working to end violence against women and girls. According to the White Ribbon Campaign website, this remarkable accomplishment would not have been possible without Jack Layton. And in a fitting tribute to Jack, Todd Minnerson, the executive director of the White Ribbon Campaign, described Jack's vision as follows. Jack Layton felt the time was right for great things to happen, for men to begin to move en masse to this idea that we could do better, be more caring and compassionate in our lives, that as men we could stop being afraid of equality, that we could stop being defensive about male privilege, that we could embrace the fact that we all benefit from a world with less violence against women and girls, and ultimately against each other.